Good morning. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. Thank you all so much for joining us here on Facebook for our first ever Facebook recorded All Memphis lesson. I'm really excited to be able to provide this tool for you guys during this time of uncertainty and school closures. So as we know, it's real important to keep our brains moving, and hopefully the lessons that we can provide here on Facebook will allow students to continue getting some great reading instruction while we're out of school. So quick, before we get to the lesson, which I know is the exciting part, quick introduction of me and my organization. So I'm Krista Johnson. I'm the founder and the executive director of All Memphis. All Memphis, all stands for Access Language Literacy. We're a nonprofit here in Memphis, and we're really grounded in the idea of a fully literate community. And so what we do is we provide teachers with the skills and tools they need to implement a research-based, data-driven program to help their students learn the foundations of reading. By doing that, we really hope to increase reading proficiency of students here in Memphis. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this lesson. A couple housekeeping rules. I'll be showing a slide presentation. You at home won't have the exact papers that I have to read off of and to write on. So all you need is a blank sheet of paper and a pen or a pencil to be able to do this lesson. So you know what, before we get started, let me go ahead and give you a couple of minutes, maybe 1 minute, to go ahead and find some paper and a pencil. Lined paper would be best. And then while you do that, I'll get the video up and we'll get started. So go ahead and find your paper and pencil and then come back and we'll get started. Okay, great. So I hope you've got your paper and pencil. I worked out the technology here. Let's get moving. All right, the first lesson that we're doing today, March 24th of 2020, we're gonna learn about the suffix S. And if you don't, that doesn't mean anything to you right now, it sure will by the time we get to the end of the lesson. But I like to start every lesson with a little bit of talking. Let's get our mouth moving and our brains going. And what better way to do it than to have a prompt? What I want us to do is I'll repeat, right now I feel blank. It seems pretty appropriate now with what all we're going through. So let's take a second, think about how we're feeling, and then answer this in a full sentence. So I'll go first. Okay, I think I know. So right now I feel excited to be teaching this first Facebook lesson. And I also feel a little bit lonely because I'm not with all of my friends and my coworkers. Okay, so it's your turn. So I want you to take a second, think about how you feel, and then either say out loud to yourself or a parent or a grandparent or maybe your brother or sister or a stuffed animal, whatever it is, why don't you say a sentence and say, right now I feel. Okay, go ahead. Great job. So since I can't hear you, I don't know what you said, but I hope some of you said, right now I feel good. Right now I feel ready to learn. Or maybe right now I feel a little bored, which you might be because we're all stuck in the house. Okay, the next task we're going to do is something that we call phonological awareness. So phonological awareness is no reading, it's no writing. We're not even going to look at letters. What we're going to do is we're going to listen to sounds. We're going to actually listen to words, and I'm going to ask you to do something with those words. And in this task, it's called segmenting. So I'm going to give you a word, and I'm going to ask you to break that word into sounds. And we're going to put one sound on each finger. So let's do the first one together. The first one is clot. Repeat. Great job. Now, let's use our fingers to put each sound in the word clot onto one finger. So, clot. K, U, A, T. Good job. So there were 4 sounds in that word. Okay, the next word is brim. Repeat. Good. Let's do that together as well. B, I, M. Great job. The word is brim. Okay, the next one I'm going to let you do on your own. The word is slap. Repeat. Good. Now, before you get started, let's think really carefully. The beginning sounds of the word slap sound like they come together, but let's separate them on fingers. Go ahead. Great job. I'm having a hard time with my fingers moving in the way I want them to. But that word was slap. So let's do it together. S, U, A, P. Good. I just can't get that 4th finger to stand up very well, but there we go. Slap. The next word is grad. Go ahead. Good. G, A, D. Great job. The next word is plum. Repeat the word. Okay, sound it out on your fingers. Good, we'll do it together. P, U, M. Great job. The next word is sled. Repeat. Good, sound it out. Good. Let's segment that together. S, U, E, D. The word was sled. Okay, 2 more left. The next word is glad. Repeat. Good. Let's sound it out. Great job. Glad. The next word, the last one, is blob. Repeat. Good. Go ahead and sound it out on your fingers. Okay, here we go. B, U, A, B. Great job. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, if you're not familiar with an All Memphis lesson, we're going to go through a card deck. This is to get our eyes warmed up, looking at letters and repeating the sound that the letter makes. For those of you that are new to joining us, I'm going to give you some keywords so it'll help us remember the sound. So I'll go ahead and say the letter, the keyword, and the sound, and then I'll give you an opportunity to do it as well. Okay, so the first one, A, apple, A. T, table, T. B, ball, B. L, lamp, ooh. F, fish, f. H, hat, P, pig, S, snake, S. U, up, M, map, M. R, rat, Good. And that R sounds like a growl. Good job. C, cat, K. G, goat, G. SH, ship, sh. This is a digraph, 2 letters that come together to make one sound. N, nest, N. D, dog, D. O, ox, ah. J, jar, j. Now there's a rule here. And the rule is no English word ends with a J. Can you say that? Great job. J, jar, j. No English word ends with a J. Next one. V, van, v. Repeat. This one also has a rule. No English word ends with a V. It's always followed by an E. Let's say that again together. No English word ends with a V. It's always followed by an E. Okay, your turn. Great. So V, van, v. No English word ends with a V. It's always followed by an E. W, wagon, w. E, egg, eh. X, box, x. K, kite, k. Y, yo-yo, y. Z, zebra, z. I, igloo, I. This also has a rule. No English word ends with an I. Go ahead and say it. Great job. I, igloo, I. No English word ends with an I. Q-U, queen, qu. We also have a rule here too. The rule is Q and U are always together because they're best friends. What's the rule? That's right. Q and U are always together because they're best friends. Another digraph. TH, thumb. CH, chair, ch. WH, whistle, w. Great job. So those were all the cards that we're going to go through today. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to learn a sight word. A sight word is a word that we want to be able to read just by looking at it. So the sight word that we have today is little. Repeat. Great job. So let's say the letters together. L, I, T, T, L, E. Little. Go ahead, repeat it. Good job. Now let's try covering it up. I want you to put your hand over the word so you can't see it, just like I'm doing. Now let's say the letters. L, I, T, T, L, E. What's that spell? Little. Good. Now close your eyes. No cheating. Let's say it again. L, I, T, T, L, E. Little. Good. Now keep your eyes covered. Now you do it. Great job. Open your eyes. Let's read it one more time. What's our sight word? That's right. Little. Okay, so now we're gonna read some words, get our brain really moving. In order to help read these words, we're gonna do something called annotation, where we mark the letters to help bring our attention to them so we can read them a little bit easier. But since you don't have these words in front of you, what I want you to do is take your pencil or pen and your piece of paper, and I want you to write these words down. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of time to do that. I'm going to underline these words. So go ahead and write this word. Now notice I'm not telling you what word to write because I'm going to have you do the reading. Okay, now write this word on your paper. Good. Now let's write this word. Okay, the next one has more letters. Let's go ahead and write this word. Okay, let's write this word. Next one. Okay, next one. Next one. Okay, and let's write that last word on your paper. Now, if you're not quite finished copying the words, that's fine. Go ahead and pause the video while you continue writing the words down before we go do the next step. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and clear what I just did, and we're going to start annotating. And the first thing I want you to do is draw a line under the vowels in the words. What are the vowels in our language? That's right, A, E, I, O, and U. Vowels are really important. We can't have a word without a vowel. So I'm going to go ahead and give you 10 seconds to underline the vowels in each of these words. Go ahead. Okay, so let's do that. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and underline the vowels together. Here's a vowel. 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 Okay. The next thing I want to do is draw a square around blends. Do you remember what blends are? Blends are when we hear two letters that come together to make two sounds. So two letters that come together but make two sounds. So I see two blends on this paper. So why don't you take a minute and see if you can find the blends and draw a square around the blends. Now, don't be tricked about two consonants that are coming together that make one sound. These are two consonants that come together and make two sounds. All right, I found the first one here. The T and W say tw. Okay, did anyone find the second one? Yep, right here. F and R come together to say fur. Great job. Now, the ones that might have been tricky were our digraphs. Our digraphs are the two letters that come together to make one sound. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to go ahead and circle all the digraphs that you see on your page that you wrote down. Go ahead. Okay, let's start circling those together. Here's the one that I found. Another one. Another one. And another one. Great. So if your paper looks like my paper, awesome. Give yourself a high five. And if not, no problem. Just make the corrections and we'll start reading. Okay, let's read this first word. Go ahead. Good. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next. 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 Last one. Great reading. Okay, let's read them together. Bug, cup, ship, thump, chin, twig, yap, them, frog. Awesome reading. I'm going to read the first row really quickly. Bug, cup, ship. Go ahead, you do it now. Great. Next row. Thump, chin, twig. Your turn. Great. And the last row, yap, them, frog. Your turn. Great job. Now I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Go ahead and read these words as fast as you can out loud. Starting now. Go ahead. All right. Great reading. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so at the beginning of the lesson, I showed you a letter and I asked you to say what the name of the letter was and the sound of that letter. Right now, I'm going to do it sort of in the opposite direction. I'm going to tell you what letter to write down. So you don't have this sheet in front of me, but that's okay. I want you to pick the next line on your sheet. And on that line, please write the letter C. Repeat. Great job. Now next to it, write the letter E. Repeat. Great. And as you write that letter E, I'd like you to say the sound that E makes. Okay. Next one is A. Write the letter A. Say the sound. Good. And the last one we'll do, write the letter W. Repeat. Good. And say the sound as you write it. Great job. So your first line should look something like this. C, K, E, A, W, W. Great job. On the next row of your paper, I'm going to ask you to write some sounds. So the first sound I want you to write is the sound S. Repeat. Good. The next one, repeat. Next to that, repeat. Next to that, repeat. All right, so your next line should look like this. S, snake, S. TH, U, I. Great job. Okay, for those of you who have followed along with All Memphis in your schools, you'll also remember our keywords. So I'm going to give you a keyword and I want you to write the letter that goes with that keyword. Now, if you can't remember or if you don't know our keyword because you haven't been using All Memphis, I'll give you a hint. The letter is going to be the first sound that you hear in the word. All right, write the letter that goes with the keyword top. Repeat. Actually, let's write the letter that goes with the keyword table. Repeat. Good. The next one, the keyword for ball. Repeat. Good. The letter that goes with the keyword pig. Repeat. And the last one, the letter that goes with the keyword snake. Repeat. Great job. So for table, T. For ball is B. B. For P is pig. P. For for snake is S. S. Great job. So if your row looks like that, give yourself a high five. If not, make the corrections and then give yourself a high five. All right, your next line, the last thing that we're going to do here is I want you to listen to the word I'm going to say, and I want you to write the letter that makes the first sound in that word. So the first word is mop. Repeat. Good. What sound do you hear at the beginning of mop? Write that letter. Okay, the next word is rib. Repeat. Good. What sound do you hear at the beginning of rib? Write that letter. The next word is nut. Repeat. Good. What sound do you hear at the beginning of nut? Good. Write that letter. The next word is on. Repeat. Good. What sound do you hear at the beginning of on? Good. Write that letter. So your line should look like this. For mop, we have m. For rib, we have r. For nut, we have n. And for on, we have ah. So if your line looks like that, give yourself a high five. If not, make the corrections and then give yourself a high five. Great job. Okay, so now we're going to move on and do some spelling. Let's get to our next slide here. So again, you don't have this template in the front of you. That's okay. I'm going to give you a word, and I want you to spell that word on the paper in front of you. So the first word is the word shed. Repeat. Good. Now it's important anytime before we spell, let's sound out those letters on our hand. So the word was shed, sh, e, d. So let's do this one together. Sh, e, d. Good. The word is shed. The next word is frog. Repeat. Great job. Sound it out. Good. Now spell it on your sheet while you sound it out. All right. Your next word is when. Repeat. Good. Let's sound it out. W, e, n. This one's tricky. The first sound is w. There's two ways that we can spell w. I'm going to give you a hint. Let's spell it with our digraph. Okay? The word is when. Okay, your next word is red. Repeat. Good. Let's sound it out. Go ahead and write it. Okay, the last two I'm going to let you do all by yourself. Don't forget to sound it out before you write it. The word is bag. Repeat. And your last word is gum. Repeat. Great job. So let's see if you got what I got. So we did the first one together. The next word was g. Good. What word is that? Frog. Good. The next word was when, and we're using a digraph. W, e, n. Good. The next word was e, d. What does that spell? That's right, red. The next word was bag. B, a, g. Good. What does that say? Bag. Good. And the last one was g, m. Great job. Gum. Let's read all of those words that we just wrote. Go ahead. Awesome job. Okay, so now we're moving on to our new feature. Our new feature is morphology, and morphology, the type of morphology that we're learning here is the suffix S. Okay, so what is a suffix? A suffix is a letter or a group of letters added to the end of a word, then change its meaning. Okay, let's do that again. A suffix is a letter or group of letters added to the end of the word to change the meaning. The first suffix that we're going to learn is the suffix S, and it means more than one. Let's think about that. Let's think about a word like cat. If I said I have a cat, how many do I have? One. I just have one cat. But if I said I have cats, do I have just one? I have more than one. I could have two. I could have three. I could have 8. I could have a lot of cats. But the S that we hear at the end means more than one. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want everyone to get a new line on your paper in front of you, and let's write this. So let's write the suffix S means more than one. Go ahead, you do it. Good, let's do the next one together. The suffix S means more than one. The suffix S means more than one. Great job. Okay, so now we're going to look at these words in some words to read. So let's move on to our next slide. Now, again, you don't have these words in front of you, so I'm going to give you some time, and this is really great practice because I'm sure we all have to do this at school where we copy something from the board to our paper. So let's all take some time and copy these words onto the paper in front of you. So I'll go ahead and underline them as you copy them, okay? And again, we're just copying because we're going to read them. Let's do this first word. Okay, the next word. Okay, let's write the third word. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. And the last one. Good. Go ahead and write that last word, and I'm going to clear the marks that I've made. And the reason we wrote them down is because when we look at these words, can you notice something that all of these words have? Think about what we just learned about. That's right. I think I heard someone say it. All of these words have a suffix. And so what suffix do these words all have? Yep, the suffix S. Let's draw a bracket around all the S's. Go ahead, you do it. Okay, I'm going to give you about 3 more seconds to finish putting the brackets around the suffixes that you see. Great job. So your paper should look like this. I'm drawing a bracket to separate that suffix from our base word. So what is a base word? The base word is the word that we added this suffix to. So I'd like you guys to go through and read just the base word as I underline it. Okay, the first one. Good. Next one. Good. The next one. Yeah. These words should look familiar. We've read them before earlier in the lesson. The next one. Good. And the next one. The next one. Next. And the next base word. Great job. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and read them, the base word with the suffix. So I'll read and then you repeat. Bugs, repeat. Cups, repeat. Ships, repeat. Thumps, repeat. Chins, repeat. Twigs, repeat. Yaps, repeat. Frogs, repeat. Great job. I'm going to give you 10 seconds for you to read all of those words to yourself. Go ahead. Okay, great job. Now we're going to practice spelling using our suffix. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to spell the base word. So the first word that I'm going to ask you to spell is crab. Now before we write it, let's sound it out using our fingers. K, a, b. Go ahead and write that on your paper. Good. Now add the suffix that means more than one. Great job. The next word is cup. Repeat. Good. Let's sound it out. Great job. Write that down. Good. Now write the suffix that means more than one. Great job. The last word that we're going to do is the word spot. Repeat. Good. Sound it out on your fingers. Be careful. I hear a blend at the beginning. Good. Now add the letter, the suffix that means more than one. All right, let's go through and see if you spelled them the same way I am. Our first base word was crab. A, b. And then we added the suffix that means more than one. And our word is, that's right, crabs. Our next word is cup. K, p, with the suffix that means more than one. So it's, that's right, cups. And our last one was a little tricky. We had a blend at the beginning of that. The base word was spot. S, p, a, t. And then we added the suffix, meaning more than one, and it gave us spots. Go ahead and read these words. Great job. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our learned words. Does anybody know what a learned word is? So a learned word is an awful lot like a sight word, but it's a word that I want for us to know how to spell. So it's not a word that we can sound out. So today's learned word is any. Repeat. Great job. So the reason this is a learned word is because we can't sound it out. Usually the A says a and the Y says ya. But in the word any, it doesn't follow those rules. So we just have to memorize it. So we spell any, A-N-Y. Repeat. Great job. Let's do it again. The word is any. Repeat. Good. A-N-Y. Repeat. Great job. Now let's spell it 3 times. So just grab another blank line on your paper. Let's say the letters as we spell it. A-N-Y. Any. So remember, we can't sound it out, so we don't say the sounds, we say the letters. Let's do it again. A, N, Y. Any. Again. A, N, Y. Any. Great job. So what was our learned word? That's right, any. Now close your eyes. How do we spell any? Yep, A-N-Y. Great job. Go ahead and open your eyes. We're gonna clear this and move on to our next slide. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to dictation sentences. So right now, I'm gonna ask you to actually write sentences that I tell you. Now, don't worry, some of the words in these sentences are words that you might not know how to spell and you can't sound them out because they're learned words. And if you haven't been following along the lessons in your school, you might not know those learned words, but just go ahead and take your best guess at those learned words. Most of these words you can spell out. And also, before we get started here, it's really important to think about the word cups, okay? C-U-P-S. So what does cups mean? Well, the C stands for capitalization. We always have to remember to capitalize the first letter in a sentence. The U stands for understanding. We need to make sure our sentence makes sense and people can understand it. The P stands for punctuation. So we have to add a period or a question mark or an exclamation point at the end of a sentence. And the S stands for spelling. So we're going to focus on spelling. So don't forget, if it's a word we can sound out, to sound it out on our fingers before we spell. Okay, so the first sentence I'm going to have you spell is this. Some of the crabs snap. Repeat. Good, I'm going to say it one more time. Some of the crabs snap. Repeat. Great job. So go ahead and write that sentence on a line on your paper. Some of the crabs snap. All right, let's take a look at my sentence. Some of the crabs snap. All right, did I do that right? What? Oh, my cups. Capitalization. You know what? I didn't look for capital letters. And let's try again. Some of the crabs snap. All right. And then I need a period for punctuation. Okay. The next sentence. Are there any cups with spots? Can you repeat that? Are there any cups with spots? Notice how my voice is going up in the end. It sounds like it's a question. So let's keep that in mind for our punctuation. Okay, go ahead. Are there any cups with spots? Okay, so let's take a look here. Does your sentence look like mine? If so, give yourself a high five. If not, go ahead and make any corrections and then give yourself a high five. And look here, the word any, that's one of our learned words. Let's do some exercises. This is what we call extensions. Let's do some extensions here. Let's look at the first sentence, and I'm going to ask you some questions. In the first sentence, what word is this? A, b, z. What word did I just segment out? Good, the word crabs. Good, let's look again in that first sentence. What word rhymes with clap? Yep, snap. Good job, clap, snap. Those words rhyme. Okay, let's look in sentence 2. In sentence 2, read the words that some animals have on them. What do some animals have on them? Do some animals have cups on them? No. Yep, that's right, spots. Some animals have spots. What animals have spots on them? Oh, I think I heard someone say a cheetah. Yep. What about a zebra? Does a zebra have spots? Nope. Zebra has stripes. Okay, the last question here I'm going to ask. This is an analogy. Listen carefully. Solids are to plates as liquids are to, that's right, cups. We put solid things on plates and we put liquid in cups. Great job. Okay, now the last thing that we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and do some reading. So let's take a look at these sentences. I want to draw your attention to a couple of things. First of all, does anyone remember what our sight word was today? I see it right here. Can anyone remember what that was? Yep, that's right, little. Good job. Now, there's also some words, because if you haven't been following along with our curriculum, some words that are sight words that we've learned before. And I'm going to go ahead and underline those. This word is please. This word is the. And then we have the again. This word is has. We have the again. Here's her. Now, to, out, of, and the. So let's read those words. Please, the, has, the, her, now, to, out, of, the. Okay, so why don't you take a shot at reading this first sentence? Go ahead and read it to yourself. Read it out loud. Good. Let's read it together. Please grab the red cups. Does anyone see some morphology there? Do we have a suffix? Yep, I see a suffix right there. All right, the next sentence. Go ahead and read it. Good. And I see more morphology, another suffix right there. Let's read it together. The little frog has big spots. Okay, the next sentence. Remember, this word right here is her. Go ahead and read that sentence out loud. There's another word in here that I didn't point out. If you don't know it, this word is rabbit. So let's try again. Good, let's read it together. The rabbit thumps her leg. Can anyone find our suffix? There it is. What does the suffix S mean? Yep, more than one. Okay, we should be able to sound out all but this word in this sentence. Okay, go ahead and read this sentence. Let's read it together. Crabs pinch and some bugs munch. Repeat. Good. I see 2 suffixes here. That and that. More than one. All right. Let's read the last sentence. Go ahead. Okay, and I'll read it. Now get 2 twigs out of the bunch. Repeat. Great job. Thank you so much. That's the end of our lesson. Thank you so much for joining along with our lesson today. And we can't wait to see you back tomorrow at 1 o'clock for our first read along. And then on Thursday, we'll be having another recorded lesson coming up. Friday, we'll have another read along. And then the following week, we're going to have a lesson and a read along every week, or I'm sorry, every day. So we're really excited to be able to bring this to you. Our program staff is going to be online right now to answer any questions that you have about the lesson you just watched or any recommendations or comments. So go ahead and feel free to type those in or ask a parent to type those in. And we'll see you back tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.